Those people who bought that house with the help of bank and mum and dad, that's a one-trick pony. They're never actually going to make that kind of money because they didn't make it in the first place. So this is a life-changing amount of money for them. So the fact that they've gone off and used that money to buy a liability is a problem. If they say buy a £500,000 property and the bank and mum and dad gives them £50,000, so a 10% deposit, when they come to sell that property, which inevitably they will need to if they're going to get married and have kids, then they're going to pay 2% charge on that property, 1.5% exit, 0.5% transaction cost. Then when they come to buy their family home for their kids, their marriage, etc., they're probably going to, and if logic dictates, buy a £750,000 property by that time, they're going to have to pay stamp duty on that next purchase. So that would be about 27.5 grand. So they lose £10,000 for selling the first property. They then pay a stamp duty of 27.5k in buying the second property. So they're going to lose, as a percentage of their £50,000, about 75% of their initial deposit, which obviously is a huge loss of capital as a percentage. The better thing to do, if you're a Gen Z millennial either asking your parents for money, or you're a boomer or a Gen Xer who's trying to give their kids money, is actually to buy investment property that you're not going to sell regardless of your family situation, regardless of your work situation, but also which is in a high yielding area, not just an area where you want to live in. Because again, the sad thing is that when people get given this life-changing amount of money, they end up buying property in places where they want to live, which unfortunately isn't necessarily the best investment place to buy property. And so the better thing to do is to set up a company, buy a affordable property in that company in an area that's got a high growth potential, but also a high yield, and use that yield to then contribute to a rent in a place that you want to live.